Allahu, Allahu, Allahu. Allahu, 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 Allahu.
Although Columbus discovered Trinidad in 1498, the island remained underdeveloped by its Spanish colonizers for the next 300 years. However, with the introduction of the cedula population in 1783, there came an influx of planters with their slaves from the neighboring French islands. This migration, along with the British conquest in 1797, resulted in the establishment of several sugar and cocoa estates on the island. Because of the use of free slave labor, these industries prospered for a while.
Bijolete Oh yeah, yeah, super jolly.
But with the emancipation of the African slaves in 1838, the planters of Trinidad faced a huge crisis. The free slave labor, to which they had grown accustomed, disappeared. Anxious to exercise their newly gained freedom, most of the ex-slaves moved into surrounding towns and villages seeking work for pay. Some, however, continued to occupy the barracks rent-free, while refusing to do any estate work until the planters agreed to pay wages. The planters in turn tried to extract as much work as they could for these wages. This led to much bitterness on both sides, resulting in open acts of hostility and violence. Sugarcane fields were often burnt and destroyed by disgruntled laborers, and the ex-slaves who still occupied the estate barracks were ejected by the planters. Soon sugar production on the island drastically declined. Fields and equipment lay abandoned. The local sugarcane producers grew desperate as they struggled against losing their market to the producers of European beet sugar. The only viable solution seemed to be in importing a cheap and easy-to-manage labor force to replace the African slaves. The British made several attempts to recruit workers from various parts of the world, all of which failed. Only India proved successful. Beginning with the Fatal Razak on 30th May 1845 and ending with the Ganges on 22nd April 1917, over 147,000 Indians came to Trinidad as indentured servants. Although some were tricked by sly recruiters, or were intrigued by tales from returning immigrants, or were escaping religious or caste bigotry, or were fleeing from famine or epidemics, or were fugitives from oppressive family lives, most left India for economic reasons. Some came from the southern port of Madras, but the vast majority came from the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar via the port of Calcutta. Among those who came via Calcutta was a 23-year-old man named John Munradeen. Family stories indicate that while still a child, his mother had drowned during a violent monsoon storm. That he was raised in the village of Baharabad near Kanpur by his father Hausi, a school teacher who gave him the English name John. That although Hausi remarried and raised a new family, he made sure that John grew up an educated man, fluent in Hindi, Urdu, and English. And that as a young man in India, John worked for the British authorities as a translator where his language skills were in demand. In 1856, he was engaged to a young woman named Khadija in the neighboring village of Ranipur. Just 4 months before his wedding, his fiancée's family's estate was annexed after her father had suddenly died and there was no male heir to inherit his property. When she protested, demanding inheritance of the family estate, she and her mother mysteriously disappeared. Munradeen grew disillusioned with this and with the domineering attitude of his British superiors at his workplace. Harboring deep feelings of hostility towards the authorities, he secretly joined a group of patriotic rebels. Soon his activities were discovered and a warrant was issued for his arrest.
John! Yes! What is
They're
it?
coming for you.
Who?
Soldiers.
Why?
They say they're traitor.
How do you know this?
They just left my home and they're coming here.
Oh gosh, my family.
No, you have
I
to
must
go.
see
No,
them.
no,
I
you
must
have to
see
go.
them.
John Munradeen left his home to escape the consequences of participating against the British in the Great Indian Mutiny of 1857. Many who had participated were tortured and executed. Some fled India to escape the wrath of the authorities.
Peter G.
Beta G.
Father.
Are you hurt?
No, Father.
Everybody is worrying about you.
I'm sorry for all the trouble I have caused, Father.
No trouble. You're doing what you have to do. Where would you go from here?
I am going to Calcutta.
Calcutta.
I have to try to leave India.
I may have to leave with my family too.
Where will you go?
I don't know. With God's help, I will find a village that I'll be safe. But you'll remain in my heart. Just remember wherever you go, you are the son of Husi.
To conceal his identity, he adopted the single name Muniruddin. He took the train, rode on bull carts, and walked for several weeks from his village to the bustling city of Calcutta. It was his first visit to this big city. The noise, the excitement, the constant flow of people, and the variety of activities overwhelmed him at first. But he was in Calcutta for a purpose. He made his way to the emigration depot on the banks of the Hooghly River, where they were recruiting workers. There were several lines there, for workers were being recruited to go to all the colonies. Munradeen joined the Trinidad line.
What is your name?
Muniruddin,
What is your age?
23.
And what is your father's name?
Who was he?
Any other family?
No, Sahib.
So you want to go to Trinidad?
Yes, Sahib.
And you're willing to follow our rules?
Yes, Sahib.
The next ship arrives in 2 weeks. Go into the waiting room.
He then entered a huge hall where he joined hundreds of other recruits. Food was provided twice a day, and all the recruits were amply fed while they were there. Every day, the number of recruits grew as more and more people arrived from the villages. Some came as individuals, and some came as entire families. While waiting for the ship, they were free to mingle, and many long-lasting friendships started there. Munradeen kept mostly to himself.
I know you.
You're mistaken, friend.
No, I am not.
I'm not from around here.
I know. You're John. You're John Munradeen, son of Housie, the school teacher.
Who are you?
Don't worry. I'm in the same situation like you.
Who are you? How do you know me?
My real name is Mandu, son of Niranjan. My father, he was a caretaker of the mandir in the village of Ranipur. I was there when you joined Nana Sahib in Kanpur. How long have you been on the run, brother?
3 months, brother.
I have been hiding for almost 2 months. At first, they arrested me. For 11 days, they beat me and tortured me. They wanted me to give names, but I refused. I was sure they would have killed me. But one night, I sneaked away. And I ran all night. I ran and I ran and I ran. I will never see my family again.
Me too, bhai.
What name do you use now, Bhai?
Muniruddin, son of Huwasi.
Brother, you don't know anyone here, and I don't know anyone here, but we know each other now. We can be real brothers.
Yes.
We can become a family. We can help each other, look out for each other.
Yes, bhai.
I feel so lonely. I'm afraid.
Don't worry, bhai. We will stick together and help each other in this new life.
When the Ellenborough ship arrived, it stayed out in the middle of the river. All day long, provisions and passengers were transported by small boats from the docks. Munradeen and Mandhu were placed in one of these boats with 15 other men and rowed out to the ship. On Tuesday, 5th January 1858, 23-year-old Munradeen set sail on the Ellenborough ship from Calcutta, leaving his beloved homeland, bound for a new life in a faraway place across the sea. On that day, the Ellenborough carried a total of 388 indentured Indians, of whom Munradeen was the 124th to be registered. The ship comprised of 4 decks. The main deck was open to the sky. Below that was the living quarters for the captain and crew. Below that was the sleeping area for the Indians. The lowest deck was where the livestock, provisions, and cargo were kept. The deck where the Indians slept was divided into 3 sections, one for single men, one for single women, and one for married couples and their children.
This is Captain Hayes. He is in charge of this ship. Your job for this whole voyage will be to scrub and clean this deck every morning. You must begin before sunrise and be finished by the time the cooks are ready to serve breakfast. This means that you will have just about 3 hours to complete the job.
All the adults were assigned jobs like cooking, cleaning, and tending to the livestock on board.
Allah Pita.
The trip down the Hooghly River to the open sea was 125 miles and took 2 days.
Allahu Allah Pita tum mere priya zindagi Pitaji. Allahu Allah Pita mujhe apne प्यार से बहार में तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह 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 Like dust upon a barren land, I blow away. A beggar with an outstretched hand, adrift and stray. I've lost my home, my family, a castaway. Adrift upon a stormy sea, I've been betrayed. Allahu, my lonely soul is burdened, my heart weak, my tired feet stray far from home, the pain is deep. The robin sitting on the tree mocks me with song. He says I am no longer free, I am a vagabond, I am a vagabond. Allah मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी
For Munradeen, as with most of the other Indians, It was his first time at sea, and it took many days to get accustomed to the constant rocking and swaying of the ship. Thus began a long and tedious sea voyage for people who in most cases had never seen the ocean before. Every day when their work was done, Munradin and his friend Mandhu spent their time marveling at the vastness of the ocean.
That one over there is called a whale. And you see the group over there that seems so friendly and playful? They are called dolphins.
And that one, is that a bird?
No, it's a flying fish. And look, those down there, they are called stingrays.
How do you know so much?
I learned in school.
You were so lucky. I never went to school. What will happen when we arrive over there, brother?
They said that we'll be assigned to sugar estates.
The same one?
Some will go to different estates. There are many estates.
The different estates?
I don't know.
We can tell them that we are related and we can stay in the same estate.
Yes, we will tell them that.
On most days, while the adults did their chores, the children played noisily on the deck. On evenings, after they'd eaten and the sun was setting, everyone would gather on the main deck and there would be music and singing until it was time to sleep. In mid-February, after rounding the southern tip of Africa, they were bombarded by a fierce storm. Great panic seized the Indians as they were confined to their area in the lower deck and the hatches on the upper deck were sealed shut. One week later, the ship stopped at the island of St. Helena, where it took in fresh supplies for the long journey across the Atlantic.
Bye. What is that thing?
Mount organ. Captain Hayes gave it to me.
And the tune by?
He says it is from his country. Brother.
I don't feel well, brother.
What is it?
I don't know.
Ya Allah. You are shaking. You have a fever.
I'm feeling so cold.
Come, brother. Dose, friend. Could you get a ship, doctor?
Hey,
Come, just a little.
All night, Munradin held Mandhu in his arms as the young man's body shook with fever.
This man has pneumonia. Bring him to the hospital immediately.
3 days later, Mandhu died. Munradin arranged with a pundit on the boat to conduct a Hindu burial service for him. Mandhu was one of 19 passengers who died on the voyage. Like the others, his body was thrown overboard. After 3 months at sea, the island of Trinidad came into view. Munradin stood silently on the main deck with the other Indians, gazing out at this place which would become his new home. His heart lifted at the sight of the beautiful green hills of the northern range as the ship sailed along off the north coast and moved through the islands of the Bocas. As they approached the Port of Spain waterfront and he gazed out at the bustling seaport, Munradin wondered what lay ahead for him and his Jahajis. On Saturday, 10th April 1858, the Ellenborough anchored at the Port of Spain jetty. The scene at the point of disembarkation in Trinidad was one of great activity as the Indians were herded out of the ship and led into their arrivals area. Here, their documents were checked and they were again examined by a team of doctors.
What is your name?
Muniraddin.
Oh, you had the smallpox before.
Yes, doctor.
Any other illness?
No, doctor.
Harmony Hall.
Yeah.
Your estate had requested 6 men.
Yes.
Okay, these are the 6 men allotted to you. All in good health, all well-behaved Muslims. Here a certificate of contract. Sign here.
Munradin was contracted to serve 5 years at the Harmony Hall estate in South Trinidad. Many who had developed close friendships on the voyage were now separated as they left for different estates throughout the island. The overseer led the new recruits to the island steamer, which sailed through the night until they arrived at the wharf in San Fernando. From here they traveled by cart, which picked up the workers for the Harmony Hall estate.
Are there any Muslims for Harmony Hall?
Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah,
Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
The new workers were then handed over to the headman, who was also called the Sardar.
From today, I'm your boss. You'll do as I say.
He then showed them to the estate barracks, a group of wooden buildings divided into small rooms which were separated by low partitions.
You 4, this is your room. You will stay here. You 2, you will stay here with Ali and Gulab. You will meet them when they come from the fields. These are the ponds. They supply the estate. The dry season can be very harsh. There's no fishing or swimming allowed. That's the owner's house. You have no business there. It's only for the house servants, no one else allowed.
He outlined their duties and the regulations governing their activities for the period of indentureship at the estate. Rice, flour, salt and cooking oil would be provided by the estate. They would have to cook their meals on a chulha on the front steps of the barracks. They would also be allowed to grow additional food in the kitchen gardens nearby. The next morning, Munradin joined the other workers in the fields. His work had begun. Despite the long hours, the hard work, the fleas, the jiggers, the lice, the lack of privacy, the unsanitary conditions, and the many other inconveniences, Munradeen always performed his tasks without complaint. Work days were from Monday to Saturday. On Sunday afternoons, the workers would gather in an open field for games and to fly kites. The estate also provided a special shed for religious observances and meetings. Workers were allowed to participate in one another's religious celebrations.
Bye. What is that paper?
A paper from my family.
How are they?
I don't know.
Didn't you read it?
Nahi.
Can't you read?
Nahi.
Would you like me to read it for you?
Can you read?
Yes, and write too.
Please, by God will bless you.
Dear brother, mother and father will miss you, but I will miss you most. I don't know where you are going, but I know that it will be better than the hard life you are having here. Since sister-in-law and baby Aisha died, you have not been the same. Don't worry, I will visit their graves for you. I hope to see you again, Shahid.
Mera chota bhai. My little brother, he's in school. He can read and write. He gave me this paper when I was leaving.
Do you want me to write to your family?
Please, bhai.
I will.
Shukriya.
Because of requests from some of the workers, Munradeen decided to teach the few who were interested. In March 1859, less than 1 year after arriving at Harmony Hall, Munradeen began using his spare time to hold classes in reading, writing, and English.
I hear you're a learned person.
I have an education, sir.
You can read and write in English?
Yes, sir.
Hindi and Urdu too?
Yes, sir.
I hear you've been teaching some of the others to read and write in English.
Yes, sir.
You like to teach?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to be a school teacher when you finished your contract here?
Yes, sir.
My friend, Mr. Basso, he's the principal of the Ward School in Gasparillo. I can talk to him on your behalf.
Thank you, sir.
Indians who had fulfilled their bond and left the estate were replaced by newly arrived workers. In April 1861, Sukwaru, aged 30, arrived at Harmony Hall with her children Zahuran, 11, and Lal Khan, 5, and her sister Janu, aged 26. Sukwaru, Janu, and Zahuran worked in the fields, but Lal Khan spent his day playing because he was too young to be under contract. From the time of their arrival, the family became actively involved in all estate activities.
Thanks for the kite.
The young master likes it?
He loves it. He'll be flying it next Sunday.
I'm glad Sister Janu and her family need it.
Oh, I'll have to thank them. Oh, by the way, Mr. Basso of the Ward School, he reached out to me. The government is planning to bring immigrants from India to teach the young children. I've submitted your name on your behalf.
Thank you, sir.
On several occasions, Munradeen was granted a pass which allowed him to make trips to nearby Gasparillo on estate business. He also had been allowed to go to where the Guaracara and the Maridule rivers met to cut paragrass for the estate animals. From his very first visit there, he had felt an affinity for the village and in particular for the area at the confluence of the two rivers. For the next 2 years, Munradeen and Janu, working in the fields and participating in Jamaat and estate activities alongside each other, grew comfortable in each other's company.
Bhai, soon your bond will be fulfilled and you will have to leave the estate.
Ji, Imam Sahib.
Bhai, you know you are a strong member of our Jamaat.
Ji.
Out there it's very easy to forget your religion.
I know.
It can get very lonely and you can meet the wrong type of people.
I know.
If you marry a good Muslim sister, you will have a good life.
Ji.
Sister Janu will make you a very good wife.
Ji, Imam Sahib.
If you want, I can talk to her sister Sakwaru on your behalf.
Ji, Imam Sahib.
In August 1863, Munradin and Janu were married at the Harmony Hall estate. On 13th September 1863, Munradin and his 5 original companions at Harmony Hall estate received their certificates of completion. Kodabokas and Dawood chose to renew their bonds, while Munradin, Sultan, Imamdi and Juman opted for new lives off the estate.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yes, I did. I wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten my promise to you. I've spoken to the education department at the colonial office.
Thank you, sir.
Unfortunately, right now, they don't have any free positions.
Thanks.
But in the meantime, I want you to stay on here. You don't have to renew your contract, and you'll work for me as a checker. This way you can stay with your wife.
Is that possible?
Of course it's possible.
Soon, Janu became pregnant. However, she continued working in the fields. Encouraged by the Imam, Munradin applied for redemption from labor on her behalf. If approved, she would be able to buy out the remaining time on her contract. When Janu was due to give birth, Ma Remy, an African midwife from Gasparillo, was brought to the estate to deliver the baby. Munradin and Janu's first child, Abdul, was born in June 1864.
Oh, you want to see him? Come now, come inside now, come now.
I have good news. I've been contacted by the education office. You've been hired to work at the ward school near San Fernando.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. You're required to start at the beginning of the new term. There's one thing, though. They suggest that you adopt an easy-to-pronounce Christian name.
I wouldn't change my religion.
You don't have to. This is a government school. But it may be beneficial to adopt a new name.
He chose his original first name, John, the name given to him by his father, Hausi, and reverted to his correct last name, Munradin.
Imam Sahib, this is John Munradin, a member of my Jamaat.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam.
Wa alaikum salam.
He's going to be a teacher in San Fernando.
Oh, so he'll be in my Jamaat.
And I would like you to give him all assistance, inshallah.
Of course I will.
In February 1865, Munradin was hired as a teacher at a government ward school outside of San Fernando. The San Fernando Imam arranged for Munradin to rent a living space at number 9 Coffee Street. At this time also, his application for redemption from labor on Janu's behalf was approved. They used their savings to pay off a contract on 7th March 1865, 1 year early. This allowed her and the baby to leave Harmony Hall and move with him to San Fernando. It was there, during 1865, that Munradin and Janu began to develop a relationship that would last for the rest of their lives. On most evenings after school, they would take baby Abdul for walks in Paradise Pasture or strolling among the shops on Mokarapo Street. They often attended free open-air concerts by traveling performers on the promenade. On most Sunday mornings, they would venture down to a large area of shade trees on the seaside near the wharf, where many freed Indians would gather to bathe in the sea and socialize. It was a happy time for the young family.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Sultan, bye. What you doing here?
The boss sent me. Janu Didi's your sister Sukwaru. She's sick and he wants you to come right away.
What's wrong?
I don't know. He just wants you to come right away.
Bahin. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Bahin. Oh God, sister. The pain. Oh God, I'm going to die.
Nahi Bahin, no sister, don't say that.
Bahin. Milibachun, Zahu, Larkan, take care of my children, sister. Zahu, Larkan, where are my children?
They're right here.
My angels, take care of them, sister. Brother, take care of my children.
We will.
Take me home, sister. I want to go home. Take me. Zamania. Oh, Zamania.
On December 31st, 1865, surrounded by her family, Sukwaru died. She was buried at the Harmony Hall estate. Janu assumed guardianship of her niece Zahuran, who was now 15 years old, and nephew Lal Khan, who was 9. Since Lal Khan was not under contractual obligations because of his age, he went to live with Munradin, Janu, and Abdul in San Fernando. Zahuran, however, was required to serve out the balance of her contract. 4 months later, in April 1866, after completing her service, Zahuran joined the rest of the family in San Fernando.
My Tobiti. This is now your home, Zahu. This is the town. We have to be careful here. Life is very different in this big town. But we will be happy here. Ha, Kala.
In June 1866, shortly after Zahuran's arrival in San Fernando, Munradin arranged a job for her at a dry goods store on High Street. Around the same time, Lal Khan began earning some income by watering and grooming horses at the buggy stand near the police station. Munradin and Janu's second son Willie was born that same year at their home on Coffee Street.
Assalamu alaikum. Are you the school teacher?
Walaikum assalam, yes.
I am Niyamat Khan from the Bellevue estate.
I am John Muradin. I used to be at the Harmony Hall estate. How long now since you left the estate?
2 weeks now.
You working anywhere yet?
I'm loading cargo near the wharf until I get something better to do.
Where are you staying?
Near the market.
You have family?
No, I came to find my brother, but I understand he was sent to Demerara instead.
So you have no one here?
No.
Well, you must come to visit my home.
Thank you.
In October 1867, Munradin and Niyamat Khan attended a lecture organized by the San Fernando Jamaat. The speaker was a businessman from Mission Village named Muhammad Mukti.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
As you all are aware, our Muslim community is growing. I am a successful businessman and I want to encourage you all to go into business yourself, but as an investment in your future, because this is our home now.
So brother, how did you start your business?
I started off in the mule cart business, and I want to encourage you all because a business is the way to go.
In June 1868, Munradin discussed with his family his intention to go into private business as a shopkeeper.
Why? Comfortable. You have a good job. Zahuran and Lal Khan are working. We're comfortable.
We can do better.
Better? You're a school teacher. Everybody knows you and respects you.
But it's not a permanent job. They prefer a Christian teacher. And I won't change my religion.
We're comfortable.
But what do we have? You want us to be renting here for the rest of our lives? Look at Joe, man. He started the same time like me. Now he has his own business and he owns property. Don't you want your own house?
We'll get it in time.
When? Not anytime soon. And not on my salary as a school teacher. Look, all I want is a chance to build something on my own.
What if it doesn't work out?
It will. We'll talk to the landlord tomorrow. We'll ask him to rent us the front. We can open the shop there. This is a good spot, right in the heart of everything.
He was granted a license on 24th June 1868 and opened his shop 1 month later at the front of their home at number 9 Coffee Street, San Fernando. Although Zahuran continued with her job on High Street, Lal Khan gave up his pursuit and devoted all his time to assisting Munradin in his new endeavor. 2 months after Munradin opened his shop, Niyamat Khan also decided to try his hand at business.
Chacha, I'm thinking to go into business myself.
That is good. What kind of business?
I've been talking to some fishermen by the wharf. They're willing to give me some fish on trust for about a month.
With Munradin's encouragement, Niyamat Khan got into the fish trade in San Fernando at the end of September 1868. As a businessman in San Fernando, Munradin now moved in a circle which included businessman Muhammad Mukti, whose lecture had influenced him and his friend Niyamat. He contracted Mukti's mule carts to pick up goods from the wholesalers at the San Fernando wharf and deliver to his shop on Coffee Street. Over time, the two men, besides being business acquaintances, became friends. Later in 1868, Munradin joined Mukti to assist his friend Nazir Muhammad and the Iri village Muslims to build their mosque. Also in 1868, Munradin and Janu approached Mukti to arrange a marriage for Zahuran.
My friend Nazir from Iri village, he knows a Muslim man named Sharag Ali.
What do you know about him?
I know he owns a shop in Mission Village and lives alone with his mother.
Bye. Can you make some arrangement?
Yes.
In 1869, 19-year-old Zahuran was married to Sharag Ali in an elaborate wedding befitting a member of a San Fernando business family. Theirs was not a happy marriage. Sharag Ali's mother was a domineering woman. From the beginning of their marriage, Zahuran faced a constant barrage of mental and verbal abuse from her. No matter how much she tried to be a good wife and daughter-in-law, her mother-in-law was relentless in her criticism. To compound the problem, Sharag Ali was too timid to come to her defense. This caused much tension in their marriage. Despite their troubled relationship, they had their first son, Uzir Ali Khan, in 1870. From October 1870, Presbyterian missionaries Reverend John Morton and Reverend Kenneth Grant began to pioneer education for Indian immigrant children in Trinidad. By mid-1871, they were seeking a local teacher who was educated in English and Hindi for a proposed Canadian mission school in San Fernando. Munradin offered his services. However, he was rejected because of his unwillingness to convert to Christianity. Early in 1872, in Trinidad, the smallpox epidemic ravaged the population. The government set up temporary inoculation centers throughout the island. Munradin volunteered his shop at number 9 Coffee Street as one.
Doctor, is there enough space in here?
Yes. Nurse, have the patients enter from here.
Yes, doctor.
You think you can handle all of them today?
We must. We have no time to lose.
Sahib, do you have the saffron for me?
Yes, I'll get it.
Like you all given inoculation today?
Yes.
Well, I might as well take mine.
Are those new arrivals in your cart?
Yes, I just stick them up on the wharf.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Where are you from, brother?
Cheliani.
Where is that?
Close to Marihu, near Jampur.
This is your family?
Ah. Mera naam Tursu hai. This is my wife Sugia, my children Kenya, Bungi, Rahmat and Ishmael.
You have to be inoculated for the smallpox.
We were inoculated in Calcutta.
You have the document?
Here.
I received a letter from some coolie leaders wishing to hold a mass rally.
A mass rally? For what?
They are praying for relief from this smallpox epidemic.
What do they want from us?
They want our participation and the participation of our Christian churches.
No.
We cannot prevent them from holding a peaceful prayer rally.
Then let them have their rally. We must not join in. We must not validate the activities of these heathen faiths.
During this time, Zahuran and Sharagali had a second son. They named him Kazm Ali Khan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Imam Sahib. Janu, have a seat.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam
Walaikum
Sahib.
salam.
Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you. I brought a message for you from the Imam of Harmony Hall.
How is he?
He's fine. I met him at a Akika in Marbella, and he asked me to remind you of the land in Gasparilla.
Really?
Yes.
That is where the Karamiti Maridule River.
I know.
There's also another piece, if you're interested.
Oh, thank you. I'll go and see him next week.
On his way to inquire about the Gasparillo lands, Munradin took a ride to Harmony Hall on a mule wagon which was transporting a new family of Indians from San Fernando to the Williamsville estate.
Musulman?
हाँ
Is this your family?
हाँ
मेरा नाम है Munradin.
मेरा नाम है Amir. This is my wife and children.
What village are you from?
Gujipur in Azamgar.
Azamgar. Yes, I know it.
You know Azamgar?
Ah, there's a brother at the Williamville estate from Azamgar. His name is Imam Ali. Ask for him and give him my salam.
Ah.
On January 14, 1873, Munradin traveled to Port of Spain to purchase the lands in Gasparillo. The deeds were prepared by Paul José de Lisle and witnessed by Manuel Sorzano. The first parcel comprised of one house of 4 acres. The second parcel comprised of a smaller house on 1 3/5 acres bordered by the Gasparillo main road. During March of the same year, 1873, Munradin packed up and moved his family from San Fernando to their own home in Gasparillo.
Morning, neighbor.
Morning.
My name is Punya and this is my daughter Sarah. We live in right up there by the junction.
Hi, it's John Munradin and this is my wife Janu.
My husband is a Kirauni man named Adams.
We just buy this property here on both sides of the road.
So we go be neighbors then. If you need anything, just call me out now.
Thank you.
So where are you from?
San Fernando.
Gasparillo is a nice place, man. All you can like it here.
From the beginning, Punya was helpful to Janu in the house, and Adams would also help Munradin and Lal Khan in the land. The first project the family undertook was to build a carrot shed on the banks of the Maridule River as a place to read their namaz.
Chacha, Adam said pick up the fruit trees last night for my
I'm
son.
thinking a shop will do well over there.
Where?
Under the house. We have enough space.
Chacha, that is a good idea.
Right now, it is not used for anything.
Munradin used their remaining savings to open a shop at the front of their home in Gasparillo. Now he was managing 2 shops, one in San Fernando for which he began hiring help, and the other in Gasparillo, which was run by Lal Khan. From the time she was married, Zahuran endured regular abuse from her husband Sharagali. However, in March 1874, in a sudden fit of rage caused by his mother's nagging, he struck Zahuran, causing visible swelling on her face.
Chachi Zahu, Chachi. Salam alaikum, auntie.
She busy.
Salam alaikum, Nani.
Walaikum. She can't see you today.
Chachi, chalo. Come, Nubi. But look.
When they got home, they told their mother Modia what they had seen. She sent a buggy to get Janu in Gasparillo. When Janu arrived in Mission Village, Modia had the girls relate what they had seen. Janu immediately went over to Sharagali's shop.
Zahu.
Kala.
What happened to you, child? Let me see your face. Up ek shaitan. You did this to her? What are you, a devil? You know how she get big so?
She too lazy and hardened.
What did you say, you miserable old witch?
You hear how she called me a miserable old witch?
And what will he do? Beat me up just like he beat her? You animals. Animals. I don't know why I married my niece and his family. Come, Zahu, get your things and come home with me.
She can't go anywhere. She have her children here.
You'll see. Try to stop her now. Let's go, Zahu.
Zahuran pleaded with her husband and her mother-in-law, but they refused to let the two boys leave Mission Village. She packed her belongings and went with her Aunt Janu to the family home in Gasparillo. In April 1874, 34-year-old Budley, his 32-year-old wife Bodia, and their children completed their indentureship and left the Cregnish estate.
Assalamu alaikum, Chacha.
Wa alaikum salam.
Are you hiring?
Are you looking for work?
Yes, I am.
Where did you work?
I just came off the Cregnish estate.
What part of India are you from?
From Gazipur.
Your family?
Yes, my wife Budia and our children.
Can you drive a mule cart?
Yes, I can.
Come tomorrow morning. You will go to San Fernando on the wharf and pick up some goods and take it to Monradin's shop on Coffee Street. He's a client of mine. And the rest of the goods burn it here.
Okay, thank you, Uncle.
Where are you staying?
We're looking for a place.
I have a room at the back of the shop. You and your family can stay there for now.
Oh, shukran, Uncle. Allah will bless you.
Because of Zahuran's years of retail business experience, Manruddin recruited her to assist in his shops in San Fernando and Gasparillo. However, her open and friendly personality soon became a source of concern for her Aunt Janu.
I've been thinking about Zahuran. What is best for her now?
It's a problem.
I see how some of the men look at her.
I noticed and how she talks and laughs with them.
I don't want anyone to take advantage of her.
She may look like an easy target.
We must do something.
She should go back home to Charagali.
Never.
She can't stay like this.
We have a duty to take care of her.
I don't know what we can do.
There is something we can do.
Kya?
Why don't you take her as a wife?
Kya? Nahi.
There's no other way.
Nahi. No, you're asking too much.
You must do this for me.
How can you ask me this? You're my wife.
I've been a good wife, haven't I? You've been a good husband. I've given you 2 sons already, and you know I can't have any more. Zahuran is like my daughter.
Then how could I do this? You're asking me to be like your son-in-law. What will people say? Everybody will be laughing at me.
We must think about her welfare. Without a husband, there will be no one to protect her. She's young. What is her future?
We can find her another husband.
And risk the chance of her being beaten like an animal? No. I want to keep her safe and in the family.
I don't have to marry her to keep her in the family.
She's young. She has feelings. She can make a mistake.
I can't.
You promised her mother you will take care of her and Lal Khan. You made a promise.
प्यार के लिए एक बलिदान कराना चाहिए खुद के खिलाफ भी प्यार के लिए एक बलिदान कराना चाहिए खुद के खिलाफ भी प्यार के लिए love of my family, love of my motherland. True love and sacrifice go hand in hand. Although the heart weeps, although the tears fall, heart learns to stifle pain. Love conquers all.
In May 1874, at Janu's insistence, Munradin and Zahuran were married by Maulvi John Muhammad of the brothers' estate. He set up a home for her in the house across the road in the Charles Street lands. Despite the two homes, the family continued to live as one. On 10th January 1875, a son Samu was born to Manruddin and Zahuran. Also in January, Mukti indicated that he was seeking a husband for his daughter Lakshmi Jan. Manruddin suggested the Maulvi Jan Muhammad, who had performed the nikah for him and Zahuran. In February 1875, Manruddin went to the wharf in San Fernando to order goods for his shop.
Nahi, I'm not staying here. I'm not going anywhere with you. I am going home with my children.
But Didi, my job is to take you and your family to the Williamsville estate.
I don't care what your job. I'm going home now.
Emmanuel, what is going on here?
Bye. She don't want to go to the estate. She wants to go back home. Bye, talk to Sheena.
You have to go with him, sister.
I don't know you. I shouldn't be here, right? I want to go back home to Gosalpur. They take me away from my husband, Beam, and they bring me here. They fool me. I want to go home now.
Sister, this is your home now.
I cannot stay here, Talanolia.
And who is these children?
This is my children. That is Ashraf there. This is Najiban, and this is Jamiran.
And you?
I'm Ramjani, and I don't belong here.
Sister, you have to go with him. He's only doing his job. He's not a bad man.
I'm not going to stay here for no 5 years. They're telling me 5 years I have to stay here.
And then you can go back home.
I will go, and I'm going home after 5 years, right? But they're not going to fool me again.
There is nice people at the Williamsville estate. They'll take good care of you and your children.
In June 1875, Manruddin's family attended the wedding of Mukti's daughter Lakshmi Jan to Maulvi Jan Muhammad in Mission Village. By the end of 1875, Manruddin's business had begun to suffer from competition as larger shops were opening up all over San Fernando. In March 1876, the family attended the Akika for Mukti's first grandchild Syed Ali, born to Lakshmi Jan and Jan Muhammad. On this occasion, they were introduced to Nazir Muhammad's sister-in-law, Amma, whom Mukti had taken as a second wife.
Assalamu alaikum, bhai.
Walaikum assalam, bhai Trusu. How are you? How is the family?
We are fine, we are fine.
Are you still at La Fortune Estate?
Bhai. But we are being released next month.
How did you manage to come to town?
I came with the overseer to pick up some fertilizer bags, not far from here. And I asked him if I could come and speak to you.
Did he give you a pass to come outside?
I keep it with me at all times.
They are very strict. Where do you plan to go after you leave the estate?
We would like to live in the San Fernando area.
Okay, I'll take you to join the Jamaat here. The members are very helpful.
Thanks, bye.
On June 12, 1877, Tursu, Sugia, and their children completed their indentureship and left the La Fortune estate in La Romaine. As he'd promised, Manruddin introduced them to members of the San Fernando Jamaat. Here, a marriage was arranged for their eldest daughter, Gaindia, to Jamaat member Ilahi Baksh, a jeweler of Kokier village. By August 1877, Manruddin was facing serious financial difficulties.
I am facing a lot of problems. I have some difficult decisions to make. We owe 5 months' rent in San Fernando. I haven't paid the wholesalers for goods for more than 2 months.
Can't we keep one of the shops open?
No. Right now we owe too much.
Chacha, if we close San Fernando branch, can't we transfer all the stocks here?
The supplier is seizing all of our goods, and that is half of what we owe. I still have to pay the difference.
What can we do?
We may have to sell here to raise the money.
You mean we'll have to leave our home?
Nahika, we won't have to move. I have some money.
Kaise?
When I left Mission Village, I brought the money that I had saved.
I cannot take your money.
Why not? We're a family.
I cannot take your saving.
Well, sell the lands to me, and we'll live here as usual. And when you can afford it, I'll sell it back to you.
In October and November 1877, Mukti's two wives, Modia and Amma, each gave birth to daughters. Modia's was named Mirijan and Amma's was Nurijan.
I saw where you applied for a job as an overseer. Well, you are fully qualified. However, we have no vacancy for an overseer. Will you accept any other job?
But I need a job right now.
Yes, I will give you a job right now, but as a laborer. Will you accept?
Yes, I will.
In March 1878, Munradin was hired as a road laborer in the government service. On 28 August 1878, a second son, Babu, was born to Zahuran and Munradin. For the next year, Munradin focused solely on his job as a road worker. In mid-1879, Munradin and Janu attended the funeral of his friend Budli, who had died in Mission Village. Later in 1879, Shirag Ali's mother became bedridden. It had become very difficult for him to run his shop while taking care of her and his two sons. He approached Zahuran, trying to encourage her to leave Gasparillo and return to him. At first she paid him no mind, but for several months he persisted. Early in 1880, the entire Munradin family joined Mukti and his family and Budli's widow Budia and her family in Mission Village for the visit of Princes Edward and George, the grandsons of Queen Victoria. They were among the crowds who witnessed the planting of 2 pui trees by the princes on the grounds of the St. Stephen's Anglican Church and the renaming of the village to Prince's Town in honor of the royal visit. Many musicians and performers entertained the crowds on this occasion. Noticeable among them was a flamboyant Tassaman from Palmyra Estate.
Do you know him?
I saw him a couple times when I went to drop milk in Palmyra Estate. That is where he is. He practices the drums when he comes from the fields in the evening. I think his name is Mosam.
On the evening of 15th April 1880, 29-year-old Mosam showed up at Munradin's Namaz shed in Gasparillo.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, bhai. You're the Tassaman from Palmyra Estate.
My name Musa here. You know me?
So we had mission last week.
You were there?
Huh? You're the best Tassaman I've ever heard.
My father Rajab was the best drummer in the whole Abad Ridge.
He taught you?
Me and my brother Jumun.
I wish I could do that.
You want to learn?
Sure.
Okay, I will teach you.
Thanks. But what you doing in Gasparillo?
I complete my contract and I'm looking for work. I heard that there is a man who named Munradin who helps to hire government road workers.
That's my uncle. Chacha.
Ah.
This is Mosam. He's looking for work.
Chacha. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. You are the Tassaman?
Bye
too. You completed your time at Palmyra?
Chacha, and now I need to work.
Where are you staying?
I've got a place from a man called Bihari on Karatal Road.
He has a French carrier boy from Martinique.
Yes, that's him.
They're good people.
Okay, come tomorrow morning for Fars. We're digging out drain near the Bonacord estate. I'll ask for Mr. Makrashi. He's the overseer there.
After Mosam started working, he recruited Lal Khan, Bihari's teenage son Samuel and Lochan from the main road to form Gasparillo's first Tassa group. In June 1880, Zahuran became pregnant with a third child by Munradin. Still, Sharagali continued to plead with her.
Kala, Sharagali came again today.
What did he say?
The same thing, but today he started to cry.
And you fell for it?
Well, I felt sorry for him.
After what he did to you?
He's not a bad man. It was his mother.
And you want to go back and care for her?
It's hard for him to see about her and the shop and the boys.
But you're having a baby.
I know, but my 2 boys, they need me.
You have 2 sons here also.
I'll take them with me.
Did you tell their father?
Huh?
What did he say?
That I shouldn't go.
What did he say about the boys?
That they should stay here.
He's right. They should stay with us. They're part of our family now.
I'll have to go. The children here, they have you. But my boys in Princestown need a mother.
I know.
Eventually, she decided to return to her Princestown family. From that day in October 1880, when Zahuran left, Janu took her 2 stepsons to live with her as if they were her own sons. In November 1880, Munradin and Janu attended the wedding of Niamat Khan, the fish merchant. He was being married to 19-year-old Bhongi, daughter of Tursu and Sukia. The newlyweds moved to Teak village, Siparia, where Niamat had recently bought a shop. 1 month later, Munradin and Janu visited Princestown to celebrate the circumcision of Mukti's only son, Basir, who was born earlier in July to his second wife, Amma. During the Canbole celebrations of February 1881 in Port of Spain, the police had clashed with rioting bands of stick fighters at various locations throughout the town. Captain Baker, the chief of police, was incensed by the acts of the open rebellion by the locals.
If we don't clamp down now, they'll grow bolder and think they can do whatever they like. They have absolutely no respect for us, and the coolies are just as bad. In fact, they may be more of a danger to the colony because they're better organized.
What do you propose we do then?
Ban them. Ban their processions and their public celebrations. Ban their carnival and their Jose festival. Those are just breeding grounds for insurgents to spread their poison.
Right now, the black and the coolie populations far outnumber us. We can't afford to incite a direct confrontation.
That's exactly the point I'm making. We must act with a firm hand now. We cannot afford to wait until they recognize the strength they possess in their numbers.
No, we must wait. We can't be too aggressive. We must give things a chance to calm down.
Also in February 1881, after moving back to Princestown, Zahuran returned briefly to Gasparillo to be with Janu and Munradin when she gave birth. The baby was a girl whom they named Zainab. In June 1881, Munradin's friend Muhammad Mukti died after a short illness. He and Janu attended the funeral. Mukti's son-in-law John Muhammad performed the janaza prayer. On June 23, 1881, a train accident near Claxton Bay claimed the lives of 3 people. They were Trinidad's first railway fatalities. Munradin was among the government workers who rushed to the area to assist. After working for 3 years as a laborer in the government service, Munradin's education and experience were finally rewarded in July 1881.
We have been observing you since you started to work with us, and we could not be more pleased. We are transferring Maklashi to the Arima area, and we would like you to be the road overseer.
Thank you, sir.
In this position, he was able to provide many Gasparillo residents with task work whenever there was a special project. Early in 1882, the Muslim families of Williamsville, under Amir's leadership, got together to form a Jamaat. The group comprised mainly of Muslims who had completed their indentureship at the Williamsville estate. Included were Ramjani and her family, and Imam Ali with his wife Doranji and his new wife Ramjani's 14-year-old daughter Najiban.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Bye. You remember my wife, Deranji?
Hi. How are you, sister?
I want you to meet my new wife.
She looks familiar.
This is Najibun.
She's Sister Ramjani's daughter.
Oh, yes, I remember her.
I chose her. It is a good choice for us. I am not well nowadays and I could not have children. She will have children.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We have a very good Jamaat here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I thank you for coming. I'm happy to see you all.
Salam from the Gasparilla Jamaat.
On April 22, 1882, Manruddin and Janu took 7-year-old Samu and 4-year-old Babu to the San Fernando Wharf to witness the arrival of the first train from Port of Spain to San Fernando. While visiting his sister Zahuran in Princestown, Lal Khan came to the defense of a middle-aged Hindu couple who were being harassed by a pair of young thugs.
What are they doing, these people? Get from here! You hurt? No, son. All right, come.
They gone?
Them go on, they run, there's cowards.
They will come back?
Nahi, come. I go walk all your home. Where do you live? Man, I'm hungry. Right, there we go.
Betia? Betia? Mama? How, Betty?
It's my daughter Daulatia.
That same day, Lal Khan convinced Daulatia to come away with him to Gasparillo.
What would your mother think if she was here? You took this child from her parents' home and brought her here?
She'd be happy for me.
For choosing someone outside your religion? What is the matter? You couldn't find a Muslim girl? And you, what would your parents think?
We want to get married, Kala.
Kaise? But she's Hindu and you're Muslim.
We're willing to compromise.
Kaise?
We'll get married in both religions.
Is that true, child?
How?
Do your parents know?
No, not yet. Look, you're not bringing any wife into this family without her parents' consent. You understand me?
Kala, I'd like for you and Uncle to go with us.
Okay, son. Go get McPhee's buggy and tell them we have to go to Princestown.
1 week later, Lal Khan and Daulatia were married at her parents' home in Princestown in a simple ceremony conducted by both an imam and a pandit. On New Year's Day 1883, Munruddin, Janu, Abdul and Willie took Samu and Babu to witness the annual sailing regatta at the San Fernando Wharf. In February 1883, Munruddin and Janu's sons Abdul and Willie started working as buggy drivers between Gasparillo and San Fernando.
The boys are working now. It's time for us to finalize our arrangement for their future.
I know.
Your husband always said he wanted them for 2 of your daughters.
Which two are you interested in?
Suki Jan and Nikki Jan.
They are young,
I know.
but they will have to stay at home until it's time.
Yes, until they are of age.
That June, marriages were arranged for both of them with 2 of the 7 daughters of the late Muhammad Mukti and his widow Modia of Water Lane Road in Princestown. In July 1883, a grand double wedding took place at the Princestown home of the young brides. Abdul was 19 years old and Soki Jan 11, while Willie was 17 and Nikki Jan 9. The brides would remain at their mother's home until physically mature. In September 1883, Lal Khan and Daulatzia were expecting their first baby.
Chacha, you have any other work besides task work?
Not now.
You know anybody hiring right now?
I will find out.
1 week later, Munruddin was able to arrange a steady job for him herding cattle for the Concord estate. In February 1884, 3 years after quelling the Port of Spain riots, Captain Baker decided to focus his attention on the coming Pempaleh celebrations in San Fernando and Princestown.
There are rumors that most of the Port of Spain stick fighters are joining bands in San Fernando and Princestown.
For what purpose? They're free to parade in Port of Spain.
That's not what they want. You don't understand these people, do you? They enjoy fighting. When they are intoxicated, they feel compelled to draw one another's blood. Their savage drumming makes them go wild. They're in a frenzy when blood is flowing in the streets. I keep telling you, these people are heathens. They practice heathenistic rites and religions.
What should we do?
We have to contain them.
How?
I'll draft regulations. If you sign the order, I'll enforce it.
He drew up a list of restrictions to be imposed on the revelers. These new restrictions resulted in numerous bloody clashes between police and rioting masqueraders in San Fernando. In Princestown, angry revelers stormed the police station and seriously hurt the magistrate, causing the police to fire on the crowd. 2 people were killed and several more were injured there. After his mother died in April 1884, Sharag Ali made plans for his family to return to India.
Kala, I want to discuss something with you.
Kya?
We're going back to India.
Who's going?
The whole family. Me, Charagali, and the children.
Why are you going back?
Charagali wants to go home to his village.
But must you go?
Kala, I miss Zamania.
I miss it too, Zahu. But this is home now.
My heart is still there, Kala.
How long do you plan to stay?
We're not coming back. That's what I want to ask you. Should I take Samu and Babu?
Nahi. This is their home now.
I don't want them to be a burden to you.
They're not a burden to me. I love them, just like Wali and Abdul. Just like you and Lal Khan.
Kala, now that we're going, I want to sell the land.
We'll buy it back.
Can you afford it? It will cost just what I paid.
Ha! We've been saving for that.
Can we take care of it tomorrow?
Ha! Tomorrow.
Meanwhile, in every village and estate, the Indians were working feverishly in their spare time, scraping and stretching and drying goat skins for their tassa drums, and building their tajdars and spinning moons in preparation for the Hussein celebrations in October.
There's a new and sinister wind blowing across the colony.
What do you mean?
The coolies.
What about them?
They've been emboldened by the rioting of the blacks. Troublemakers among them are making all kinds of threats and demands for their Hosei celebrations.
That shouldn't be a problem. They're much more peaceful than the blacks.
The coolies are better organized. Their leaders are experienced. This could be far worse than anything we've faced so far.
How can we handle them?
There's only one way. We have to control them. Keep them on the estates and villages during Muharram.
How do we do that?
We have to be firm. Ban all their Hosei processions from the streets of Port of Spain and San Fernando. Let them celebrate locally in their villages and on their estates.
They will argue that they must pass through the town and throw their tajaj into the sea. It is part of their ritual.
Let them throw them in their estate ponds and in the rivers.
They will not accept this.
They will have to. Just sign the order. Leave the rest to me.
On 30th July 1884, the Colonial Secretary John Scott Bush signed an order banning all Hussei's from the streets of Port of Spain and San Fernando. This caused much resentment among the Indians, especially those in the estates and villages surrounding San Fernando. Munruddin's sons Abdul and Willie planning to defy the order by accompanying the Husays into San Fernando.
You have to talk to your sons.
What's wrong?
You don't know?
Can't.
They are planning to go to San Fernando with the Jose.
Nahi, no, they wouldn't.
Huh? They are all planning to go. Lalkan and Mausan are going, and Abdul and Willie plan to go with them.
Munruddin called the family together.
Do you know what you are doing? Do you know how cruel the authorities can be? Let me tell you. I left my village, my father. I lost my whole family because of the authorities, the way they treated us. So I joined a rebel movement against the British in our country. In the end, they destroyed us and hunted down everyone who took part in the rebellion. Torturing, hanging. I had to disguise myself, hide my identity to be able to get out of India. Every day of my life I have lived with the fear that they will discover me. I couldn't see my India again. I had to flee. My father, with his family, had to flee. I could never communicate with him again. I don't know where he went. I don't know even if he's still alive.
So moved were they by his story that they agreed to heed his advice and celebrate their Jose with the other villagers at home in Gasparillo.
Port of Spain will be calm. All areas will be contained. San Fernando seems to be our only problem.
What's the latest in San Fernando?
They're well organized. Indians from surrounding estates and villages plan to approach from several directions.
Reinforcements from Barbados have arrived, and the Navy has anchored a warship in the Gulf.
We'll be prepared for any development.
Bayo, brothers, don't do this. Stay in your estate and celebrate. The police is preparing for you. They will show you no mercy. Don't take your tajas into town.
They won't shoot us. We have the right to have our Jose.
Don't take the chance, brother. Don't be killed for nothing.
On 30th October 1884, defying the official order, Jose revelers from the various estates and villages around San Fernando marched towards the town in two massive displays of revelry and defiance. A number of Indians were killed and wounded in the confrontations. That same month, Zahuran, Sharag Ali and their children left by boat for India. As they rode overseer for the government, Munruddin had regained his former status as a leader in the community. He provided work to many in the Gasparillo area and became known as a friend to all. He was especially helpful to newly released workers from the surrounding estates. His home near the western bank of the Maridule River became a hub of activity for the entire village, and his namaz shed on the opposite side of the road became a gathering place for the Muslims of the area. In April 1885, Munruddin and a group from the Gasparillo area began traveling to Port of Spain whenever a new ship arrived from India. There they joined a hospitality committee of freed Indians from various districts who offered assistance to the newly arrived immigrants. They also sought news about their relatives and villages in India. Among the new friends he gained there were 39-year-old Jabu from the BC Charleville area and 43-year-old Nasir Ali from a Prisal Kuva group.
Come back. I brought my parents to meet you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Glad to see you, Nana. Glad to see you, Nani.
I'm
fine, I'm fine.
Come, let's see what we can do to help them.
You have two nice boys there.
Allah shukriya bhai, Abdul Kareem and Abdul Aziz, 10 and 7.
You see what you're missing, brother Nasser?
Me? Nahi.
Don't wait too long, brother. You're not getting any younger.
Not everyone is as lucky as you, brother.
Jiha. But I think about them all the time,
But what, bhai?
I am sick.
What is it?
I have bad headaches and fever.
Did you see a doctor?
I've seen many, but no one knows anything.
Don't worry, brother. You'll be alright.
Assalamu alaikum, uncle.
Walaikum assalam, Ashraf. How are you, son?
I am okay. You look very well.
How is the mother and the family and brother Imam Ali?
They are all well. You know we live in Kunopiano.
Oh, I heard. Brother Amir told me. Tell him I asked for him.
I will. Uncle, do you know that I'm an overseer of the Woodford Lodge estate now?
I'm glad for you. That's nice.
In June 1885, Munruddin's eldest son Abdul, who had not yet consummated his marriage to Sukijan, had a son with another woman. The baby was named Abu Bakr. In September 1885, a traveling jeweler named Wahad Ali came to Munruddin's home to show his products.
You have some nice pieces.
Did you make all of these?
Huh?
Your wife must have some nice jewelry.
I'm not married.
No? A nice young man like you should have a family.
Do you know a nice girl from a good family?
I might.
Are you serious?
Huh?
We have a friend with a young daughter.
Are they a good family?
Huh? You want me to talk to her?
Huh.
In February 1886, Wahad Ali married Budia's 16-year-old daughter, Nasiban, in Princestown. Later that month, Munruddin negotiated a new contract with the Concord estate for Lal Khan.
You can maintain the coconut trees and harvest the copra from the fields, where you now tend to the cattle. You and your family can occupy this house.
In August 1886, Munruddin's friend Jubu from BC died, leaving Fahima a widow with 2 young sons. Shortly afterwards, a marriage was arranged for her with their friend Nasir Ali. Munruddin and Janu attended the wedding. After the marriage, Fahima and her children moved to Nasir Ali's home in Prisal village.
Oh Lord! Pa! Ma!
What happened?
On 4th July 1888, Zahuran and her family returned to Trinidad from India. They were quarantined at Nelson Island for 2 weeks and then assigned to San Pablo Estate.
Zahu, I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back, Carla.
Is that Zainab?
Ha.
She's so big and pretty.
How is it here in San Pablo Estate?
It's okay. They wanted to put us in BC, but I asked to come to an estate near Princestown.
How is Zamania? Did you see all the family?
Ha. But it's different now. We're different.
Who is this pretty little angel?
I had another baby. A girl, see?
She's so pretty. Just like you, Zahu. And look at those boys, how big they are. How is Charagali?
Charagali got a fever and died last year. We buried him in his village.
I'm sorry.
Where will you go after here? Will you come back to Gasparilla?
I don't know. My sons will decide when our contract is over.
For the next few months, Munruddin seldom ventured out of Gasparilla. He occasionally suffered from slight cramps and a weakness in his left leg, which caused him to walk with a limp. He continued working in the government service and providing work for others in the Gasparillo area. Lal Khan entrenched himself in his services at Concord Estate. Abdul and Willie were becoming popular cab drivers on the Gasparillo to San Fernando route. And just like Abdul before him, Willie had a son with another woman while waiting to consummate his marriage to his bride Neki John. He named the baby Ichail. Samu and Babu were devoted to their stepmother Janu. Mosum became a permanent worker in Manruddin's road crew and continued to build his reputation as a Tassa man. In September 1888, Mosum married Bihari's only daughter. She was fondly nicknamed Mamzelle by her father because he teased that she resembled her French Carib roots. On the night of April 1st, 1889, Manruddin was awakened by a sudden and acute leg cramp.
What happened?
My leg. It feels like fire.
Janu applied hot towels to ease the pain. The next morning, despite his pain, he got up and got dressed for work.
Where are you going?
To work.
Why don't you stay home today?
We are cutting a new road. I have to be there.
You hardly slept last night. You were groaning all night. You can barely walk.
I'll be all right.
All morning, at the work site in Springlands, Manruddin stifled his pain. Then just before noon, he collapsed. A young girl named Nanin, who knew him in the village and who lived across the road from where he took ill, rushed to his assistance.
Lie down quiet, Mr. John.
Adams, Abdul and Willie.
That night, the district medical officer visited him at home.
He's in a coma. There's a blood clot deep in the artery of his leg. There's very little I could do about it, but I'll give him some medication and try to dissolve the clot and ease the pain. But you have to make him as comfortable as possible.
Despite the best efforts by Janu and the family, John Manruddin died at home the next morning, April 3rd, 1889. He was 53 years old. Mourners from several surrounding villages and estates joined the people of Gasparillo to pay their final respects at his funeral. His janazah was read by Lal Khan at the Namaz shed on the banks of the Maridule River. John Manruddin was then laid to rest in his home village of Gasparillo.
अल्लाह पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बाहर में अल्लाह 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 पिता तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह 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 Like dust upon a barren land, I blow away. A beggar with an outstretched hand, adrift and stray. I've lost my home, my family, a castaway. Adrift upon a stormy sea, I've been betrayed. Allahu, Allahu, Allah पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में अल्लाह 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 My lonely soul is burdened, my heart weak. My tired feet stray far from home, the pain is deep. The robin sitting on the tree mocks me with song. He says I am no longer free, I am a vagabond, I am a vagabond. Allah पिता तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह 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 My homeland has been ripped away, no longer mine. Now I struggle here and there for a chance to find. Searching for the life I knew, but now it's gone. Should I stay or should I go confused and torn? Allahu, Allahu, Allah पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह अल्लाह पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में अल्लाह 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 पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में अल्लाह अल्लाह पिता मुझे अपने प्यार से बहार में तुम मेरे प्रिय जिंदगी पिताजी अल्लाह 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 अल्लाह